Hello,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am A-okay. It's good to see you.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I'm really pumped to just, have our conversation and just hear what you have to say because I love like meeting new people because they talk about things that I have very little knowledge about, so I learn a lot.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be doing this.
Awesome. So, why don't we just get started? So, I'm super pumped, as I said, to be here with you today. My name is Josh. I'm a grad student here at the Ross School of Business. I'm studying business, very, very close to being done, just like 28 more days, I think, but who's counting? And I'm really excited that you're here with us. So, if you'd like to introduce yourself and a little bit about you and what you represent, and we can get right started.
Yeah, great. So I'm Megan Reamer. I am a second year nutritional sciences student in the School of Public Health. I went here for undergrad as well, studying health and fitness in the School of Kinesiology. I've been here for about 6 years now. So love Michigan, love being in Ann Arbor. But yeah, I am on the path to becoming a dietitian. So hopefully within the next year or so, I will be a registered dietitian. So I'm going to be here for another year doing my dietetic internship next year. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm really excited to be here today and talk about nutrition on campus.
Sweet. Are you also done like next month?
Done next month. Yeah, end of April. So
Oh,
it feels
isn't
good.
it great? Isn't it? It does feel good. It really does. That's awesome. So thank you so much again, Megan, for joining us. And we have actually, I think a question already popped up. Am I wrong? No, LOL. Okay, I was wrong. So some of the questions that have come in from our post on social media, one of them was, and do you have any recommendations for students starting college or in college or at whatever stage in college as they want to be healthier and maybe don't know where to begin?
Yeah. I think one of my main pieces of advice is just to kind of start with where you are. Start with what you already like and what you know that you enjoy, and kind of go from there. So, for example, if you know that you like mac and cheese, that's some food that's kind of your go-to. So you know how to boil a pot of water, you know how to make pasta. So that's a plus. So you can go from there and say, okay, I know how to make this piece of this meal. What can I add in? So maybe some marinara, a veggie, and a protein source, and you have like a whole new meal based on a skill that you already have. So instead of looking at a really complicated recipe, that might be really frustrating if you're just starting out cooking, and it might cause you to kind of give up cooking and start ordering out again. So that's one piece of advice, just to kind of start where you are, start with what you know. I think also adding foods in rather than taking them out. So, adding in fiber rich foods like fruits and vegetables that you might not already be eating, or whole grains, learning how to make brown rice, quinoa, things like that. Instead of, I'm going to take out all of these food groups that I don't want to eat anymore, that's probably not going to be that sustainable, and it might not even be the healthiest choice. Um, so instead of doing something like that, just like adding foods in that will be positive for your health, I think is a good thing to do. Stocking up on healthy snacks. So if you don't have healthy snacks in your house or apartment or wherever your dorm, wherever you're living, you're not going to be eating healthy snacks. If you have, chips, whatever it is around, that's probably what you're going to go to. So, if you have it in your house, you're probably more likely to eat it. So just stocking up on snacks like that. Obviously, still keeping around the snacks that you like as well, to make sure you're not restricting yourself too much. But yeah, things like that, just starting slow, starting with where you are. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And I mean, I guess from my perspective, we've like we said, we've been here for quite a while. So I feel like you've become kind of accustomed to cooking for yourself. And I used to be a freshman orientation leader actually, and a lot of the questions that I would get from my students are like, Josh, like, what is cooking for yourself like? I'm like, well, you're gonna be a freshman, you're gonna live in the dining hall. Don't worry about it. But eventually you will have to cook for yourself if you don't have a meal plan anymore. And I mean, it's difficult, I think, if you weren't raised and taught how to cook in the home. But it's also kind of fun because at least in my experience, when I finally like broke the cord with the dining hall and had to learn how to cook for myself, my roommates and I were all in the same boat. We all didn't know how to cook. We all had to learn together. So I mean, it was challenging, but we definitely made it fun. So I think that finding ways to enjoy cooking as well as eating are also ways to just keep yourself happy.
I absolutely agree with that. Yeah. yeah, and learning new skills, especially now when we're home all day. Learning new skills in the kitchen is always really fun. I just learned how to make sourdough this year, which is something I never learned how to do before. So yeah, it's really fun to, it's a fun hobby to have, cooking. So yeah.
Yeah, was that your quarantine hobby? You learned how to make
Yeah.
sourdough? Yeah, I get it. Ours was banana bread, so I get it. Cool. One of the other questions we had, and before we do that, there's a guy who is on here all the time. He said he's a prospective Wolverine, so I just want to say welcome. You're great. And he wants to talk about just quickly social life, and I'm sure that's something a lot of people who are, either coming to school in the fall, or just new students in general have questions about that, and I can quickly touch on that. So this is my 5th year here at Michigan. It's a great school. The social life is wonderful. Like I said, my roommates and I were best friends. We all got to cook together. We all got to clean together. Living with people for the first time, like I had to do, was a bit of an adjustment. I grew up by myself, so I always had my own things. But it's really nice just to be in an environment with people who like to try new things, who are trying things that are, challenging, things that are exciting. It's going to be great. So I'm really excited for you. And if you want to touch on that too, feel free.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. Obviously, I was here for undergrad, and I've been here for the past 2 years as well through grad school. So it's been an environment that I've really loved. Being in the dorms is awesome. Getting to know people in your hall, getting to know people in different student organizations, and just kind of finding what you like. Obviously, for me, that's food. So being in my class right now with people with similar interests to me has been really great. So yeah.
Awesome. Sweet. Thank you. And then the next one we got, as we were collecting them throughout the week, they were saying like dining out or ordering in for different food services are kind of a go-to for college students. And what can college students do as we're trying to make the right decision, quote unquote, right decision with regard to food?
Yeah. I definitely think that right now, first of all, eating out at least is much more common than usual. I think I've ordered food in the past year more than I have in the other 5 years of college that I've had. So yeah, definitely a really relevant question right now. But yeah, I think, I guess a little bit same answer as before. Thinking about like what you're craving and what's going to nourish you and what you like is really important, and kind of the first piece of advice. So if you're craving a burger, if you get a salad, like that's not really gonna, maybe a good option, but it probably won't like nourish you in that moment, and it's not going to satisfy that craving. So like I said earlier, just trying to add like a fruit, vegetable, whole grain, something like that to your meal, rather than making a choice that's not going to satisfy what you want in that moment. So if you want that burger, maybe instead of getting a burger and fries, you would get a burger and salad or something like that, and maybe make homemade fries at home to still satisfy that craving. But yeah, there are so many options on campus or near campus. Even like the Michigan dining cafes are really great options. So yeah.
Yeah, awesome. You said make fries at home, and then if you do that, like I applaud you, because I don't trust myself with hot grease. It's not something I can do. So, that's really sweet if you do that.
I've never made them that way. I've made them like in the oven, which just like put the oil on top. So it's definitely an option, but
less room for error there. I
yeah.
dig it. Another question we had was if you had any resources students on campus or off campus, just Michigan students in general, can utilize to learn more about nutrition or learn about the services that U of M offers.
Yeah, so I can't remember if I mentioned it or not, but I work for Michigan Dining. I've worked for Michigan Dining for the past 3 years or so. So I worked in South Quad and in Bursley as a dining service worker, and I work in the systems office with the dietitians on campus. So yeah, I'm very familiar with the resources within Michigan Dining and kind of outside Michigan Dining as well. The Michigan Dining website has a ton of resources and information and recipes even. So that might be a good place to start, especially if you are eating on campus in the dining facilities. There's menus for every single food item that's served in the dining halls, and then nutrition information if you want to go as far as seeing the ingredients, if you're worried about, a specific allergen or something like that. All of that information is available to you. So that's good to know, especially if you're eating on campus or in the campus cafes. The M Healthy website also has a ton of resources. So they have like a whole recipe book online, which is really great. And I've used some of those recipes as well. So that's a good website to check out if you haven't yet. Um, Additionally, I know at UHS there are nutrition services as well. I believe they have a dietitian there, if not more than one. And finally, the Maize and Blue Cupboard I want to point out as well. That's available to provide food access to students. So definitely look into that if you're interested.
Thank you. I love the Amazing Blue cover. Can I just say that? It's like right, I live in Munger grad housing and it's right down the street. It's really convenient. You just make an appointment, you go in, and it's great. I love it. Especially like, if you're making something and you don't have like one ingredient, you can just go down there and they may have it. And it's easier than like driving to Meijer or going to Kroger. So definitely
Definitely.
will plug that as well. Yeah. So I know we touched on a little earlier, like what we've been doing in COVID with the quarantine, like things that we've been experimenting with, not pumpkin bread, banana bread or sourdough. But for people who are, cooking for themselves for some of the first times or just trying to try new things or maybe getting in a rut with what they've been eating, do you have any recommendations for ways to think outside of the box and try new things or be experimental while they're cooking?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think one place that I personally look is Instagram. For inspiration on the places that you're already scrolling through, I think is a good idea. So like Facebook, Instagram, there's a lot of like, I think Facebook, there's a lot of like groups you can join with different recipes, maybe themed recipes. So I personally am a vegetarian. So there's a lot of, you know, pages I follow that have vegetarian recipes that are like maybe things that I wouldn't have thought about trying. But yeah, that's always a great resource and gives me some good ideas. Um, Additionally, having friends who have, similar food likes with you, I think is important too. Like I have a lot of friends that we kind of share recipes and talk about different foods that we like or new products we see at the grocery store. So that's also a great thing to do. One thing that I kind of get some inspiration from as well is if I eat a meal that I really like at a restaurant, maybe try to like recreate it or look at other menu items at that restaurant and just figure out how I can make that at home. I think my biggest piece of advice here, though, is just making sure that, I mean, we're home all day, so there is more time, but we're all still so busy. I recognize that a lot of people don't have much time to like cook every single day, me included. So I found that like carving out some time, maybe once a week, on the weekend, something like that, to just prep a few ingredients for the week. So maybe like roast some vegetables, have a bunch for the entire week, roast some protein, chicken, whatever that might be for you. Maybe some rice or another grain, just have all of that on hand so that it's really easy to kind of grab and go, even if you are at your house all day. You don't have to like take it anywhere, but it's just really easy to like grab from your fridge rather than having to come up with a whole new meal every single day. So I found that to be pretty helpful.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. And then we're getting a ton of comments and questions in here, so that's really exciting. So, what would you say is your favorite thing to cook that's quick and easy?
Ooh, um, let's see, quick and easy. I would say I think something I do a lot is kind of what I was just describing. So like a bowl of like grains, a protein, and a vegetable. I think that's like kind of my go-to. I've found that Trader Joe's has it, and a couple of other stores I've seen have like frozen rice or like microwave rice, like brown rice that you can just throw in the microwave. It's really easy. You don't have to make it from scratch because I know making grains like that can take a lot of time. So having like frozen things, frozen vegetables, and beans, canned quick things like that that are easy to prep but still have a lot of nutrients and a lot of fiber, I think is a really easy meal. And that's something I find myself making a lot and then throwing in just some spinach or carrots or like raw vegetables that I don't have to prep too much, I think is really good too.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm trying to think of what I do. Very basic here. So very ground level type recipes in my house. But I love breakfast food. That's breakfast is my favorite meal. So I mean, my favorite thing to cook, I suppose, would be breakfast. I always have like I eat the same thing every day, actually. It's really kind of boring, but it's easy. So I just have like I have an omelet in the morning and like a pancake and avocado toast, of course. So it's quick and easy for me. It doesn't take long,
Yeah.
and it's pretty good fuel too. So I enjoy that.
Yeah, eggs are definitely a common one for me lately.
Another question one of the students wanted to know was how to avoid the freshman 15.
Oh, I would say um, first of all, to not put too much pressure on that, to still be, thinking about nourishing your body, trying not to avoid or restrict certain foods. I think that can be kind of harmful in the long run. Having that mindset, I guess, in the dining halls. But when you're likely going to be going in the dining halls when you're a freshman, so I would say um, a tip I have is maybe like taking a walk around the dining hall before you start grabbing things. And that way you can kind of check out everything that's there, see what meals interest you. Another thing might be, um, you don't have to get the entire meal from each station. Like you can say, oh, this side looks really good here and this protein looks really good here. Like that's kind of how our dining halls are set up to grab different things from different stations and kind of mix and match, which is really great. The complete meals are awesome too. Um, so yeah, I think just kind of figuring out things in the dining hall where you can, grab from different areas. Go to the salad bar. The salad bar is awesome as a side if none of the sides are like that interesting to you that day. So I guess just trying to like, um, I don't know, not restrict yourself, but just make sure that you're kind of, I guess, grabbing things from different stations and then being mindful of portion sizes as well, since maybe not grabbing everything you want at once and going back up after if you're still hungry, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess in my experience, I can speak to that a little bit. I found slash find, at least for me, that the freshman 15, wasn't really a thing. But I do want to echo what you said, that, even if it is a thing for you, does that really matter? Are you like nourishing your body? Are you staying fueled? Are you happy? I think those are more important than, whatever number you see on the scale. And at least for me, like I personally grew up in a home with an amazing cook. My mom can throw down in the kitchen. So, I mean, I was a very well-fed child. So when I came to college, and I didn't have like mom's cooking, it was like, oh, I maybe don't want all the food that's in the dining hall. Not that it's good, it's just not the same.
Hmm.
So I actually I lost 15 pounds freshman year just because, I wasn't having that same comfort food that I had at home. But like I said, and like you said, the number on the scale is not important. Be happy, be healthy. Isn't that a Cheerios ad? I think it is. But being happy and being healthy and maintaining good mental wellness, physical wellness, and all that is, I think, personally more important than whatever number you see on the scale as a result of what you've been eating.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally. Let me check in here again, see if we have any other questions that have come in. Cool. So some of the ones that we got earlier this week, let's talk about like physical activity and fueling your body and staying healthy and how, being physically active and maintaining a healthy slash hearty eating schedule would be beneficial in supporting your overall well-being. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. First of all, I come from a health and fitness background, kinesiology in my undergrad, and then obviously nutrition now. So I kind of have, both pieces of that within my education. So I definitely agree both nutrition and exercise, physical activity are so, so important for physical health, as well as mental health, if not more mental health. I think that, especially right now, it's really important to be staying as active as possible. Obviously, we're not, walking to class as we usually are, getting exercise and physical activity in that way. So I guess just being mindful of being able to get outside, especially since it's getting nicer, can do wonders for your physical health, but especially your mental health. Taking those breaks to be active or just to, walk around, get outside, I think is so important. Um, yeah, I think, right now when everyone's in their houses, as much outside time as we can get is really important.
Yeah, I could not agree with that more. The weather's change has done wonders.
Yep.
Being able to go outside. It was so nice yesterday and just being able to walk around. And I'm a big ice cream guy. I love ice cream. So I went with my friend and we walked down to get some ice cream and it was great. It was like beautiful day. Got to treat ourselves a little bit. So I would echo kind of what you said and just utilize the fact that it's getting warmer here. We've made it through another long Michigan winter and you can, balance the food that you're getting. Maybe you want to go and walk out to a restaurant because tons of restaurants are opening up down in Ann Arbor and have outdoor seating. You can enjoy, the sun and the heat outside, which has been great. So, yeah, I totally agree with what you said. Cool. And then a really interesting one, it says, so late night snacking can lead to a bit more calorie and, caffeine intake than water intake. And with a college student lifestyle that we've lived for quite some time, it can be kind of rough, right? So do you have any advice for students who are looking to kind of break the habit of pounding a monster at 11 p.m. to pull an all-nighter, and just how to continue to fuel your body when you have to stay up late and have a less than ideal sleep schedule?
Yeah, definitely. I think in terms of caffeine, that can be definitely a hard one. I I love coffee. I probably have like 2 or 3 cups a day. So I think, with stuff like that, with habits in general, I think like trying to cut it off completely all at once can be a little bit difficult. So I think like making gradual changes, maybe like a weekly goal, like this week I'm only going to have coffee past whatever time it is for you 3 days a week, and then try to kind of gradually phase it out or move it up in your day so that you're not having caffeine late into the night, and you might not need that caffeine late into the night. You might feel more energized. That's just an example. I think you mentioned snacking as well, late night. Same thing. Instead of just saying, oh, I don't want to snack late night anymore, I'm going to completely stop. Well, if you're up till whatever time it is in the morning studying, and you might get really hungry, and that's, really distracting if you're studying and your stomach's growling. So maybe instead of saying I'm not going to snack at all, switch to having an apple and peanut butter, or something nourishing, something that's going to make you feel good, going to fill you up, but it's still, it's still making you not hungry anymore, but still a little bit healthy. So maybe switching things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I have pulled my fair share of late nights, continue to, ready to stop that. But, just, I love what you said about if you're hungry, you can feed yourself. Just think of the options that we have. Does it have to be like, a bag of pretzels like it normally is for me, or could it be like some apples or something a bit more healthy? But I mean, at the end of the day, school is stressful, and I think something that I've always found comfort in is food. I love eating. I love food. It's a joyous time for me. So if I'm really stressed and I have to stay up pretty late, something that I would, like I said earlier, I like ice cream. So I'll just get a bowl of ice cream and I'll be happy. So I think finding a nice balance is important. And I think that goes for everything related to food: moderation, balance, all key parts here for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sorry, what'd you say? I missed
I
that.
started with you with the ice cream. That's one of my favorites too.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Ooh, I like chocolate.
Okay, I suppose that's okay. I like vanilla, but it's fine.
I like
I will eat chocolate. Yeah, whatever's in front of me. But that kind of wrapped up the questions that had come in live and had come in a little bit earlier. And if you have any parting wisdom you'd like to share, any message, please feel free. But we're almost wrapping up.
Awesome. This was great. I really enjoyed this. I guess parting message. I think ultimately just, I've kind of said it this whole time, but don't be too hard on yourself in general, but especially right now. We're all going through a ton with the pandemic. So, nourishing your body is most important. Just making sure that you're eating things that are going to make you feel good, eating things that you enjoy, that you're able to, cook for yourself, or if you want to go out, that's awesome too. Just making sure that you're satisfying your cravings while still eating food that's going to nourish you, making sure you're eating fruits, vegetables, whole grains, but also those foods that you enjoy as well. And just, don't be too hard on yourself. Allow yourself the grace to, eat what you want. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us again. I hope you have an awesome day, and go blue.
Thank you. Go blue. This is awesome. Thank you.
Of course. See ya.
Bye.